Greetings, my little bipeds. I am Hecakhrame, soon to be your favorite dragoness. In today's story, I'm going to tell you what happened to the missing children of Hamelin and why there is a Pied Piper involved. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Germany, was a little town called Hamelin. Life was easy for the people of Hamelin. The poor were not too poor, and the rich had much more than they needed. But instead of being happy, these people were selfish. All they cared about was eating and drinking. Their chores were neglected, and so was their hygiene. Garbage littered the streets, and everyone had a bit of an unpleasant smell. Even the children were left to fend for themselves, as their parents paid them no attention. On Christmas Eve, the locals were in full preparation for the feast. Everywhere you could smell the scent of hams and turkeys roasting, cakes and pies baking. But with all this hustle, no one noticed a rat sneaking through the city gates. It was followed by another, then another. After 5 minutes, there were 100 rats. After an hour, there were over 1,000. And soon, the whole city was invaded. The rats crept under the doorways, climbed up the gutters, and fell in clusters down the chimneys. The people tried in vain to save some food, but the rats devoured everything. Soon, there was nothing left of the festive preparations. By Christmas morning, rats were everywhere, in wardrobes, under beds, in shoes, and even in cribs. Terrified, the people went to the town hall to ask the mayor to do something. At the emergency meeting, the mayor and his councillor devised a plan, using traps and poison to rid Hamelin of the rats. Alas, the rats proved so clever and vigorous that they avoided the traps and devoured the poison as if it were sugar. By the third day, there was nothing left to eat. The rats, driven by hunger, devoured everything: pillows, books, chairs, and tables. They hunted the dogs and slaughtered the cats. In the dead of night, they beat people in their beds, tearing at flesh as the helpless victims screamed in terror. No one could sleep anymore, and anyone who tried to get dressed would find their clothes crawling with rats, their tiny body burrowing into the fabric, their eyes glistening with hunger. Desperate, the mayor finally decided to offer 1,000 gold coins to the person who could rid the town of this plague. On the fourth day, a stranger appeared in Hamelin, asking to see the mayor. Tall and young, he wore a white-brimmed hat and a brightly colored coat that caught the eye. "Greetings. I've heard that you're offering 1,000 gold coins to the man who would free the town of its rats.
That's true. But who are you?
They call me the Pied Piper, and I know how to help you.
Well, if you can rid us of the rats, you'll get the reward.
The stranger left the city hall and headed for the market square. From his coat, he took out a simple wooden flute and began to play a strange melody. As soon as they heard the first notes, the rats stopped eating to listen to the Pied Piper's song. Then they all came running from the alleys, houses, and stores to gather around him. Soon the market square was overrun by hundreds of thousands of rats. Still playing, the stranger began to walk through the town. The rats followed him through the gates of Hamelin. When he reached the riverbank, the Pied Piper stood still playing his instrument. The rats galloped on, rushing into the river. And then, without even trying to swim, they began to drown. When the man stopped playing, all the rats in Hamelin, without exception, had been swallowed up by the river. The people, overjoyed, began to sing and dance. The town's bell rang out. But as they celebrated, they forgot about the Pied Piper. When he reappeared at the town's gates, the mayor's smile faded.
Mr. Mayor, I solved your problem. Ah, very well. Here, your 50 gold coins.
We agreed on 1,000, not 50. Do not break your promise.
You think we're going to give you 1,000 gold coins for playing a little tune on your flute? Are you crazy? Here, 50 gold coins, and that's already overpriced.
You'll regret this. Life in Hamelin soon returned to normal. The mayor's trickery had saved the town 1,000 gold coins, and that became the only thing that people remembered of the Pied Piper. But one evening, in the middle of the night, while everyone was asleep, a flute tune began to echo through the city. The Pied Piper was back, and as he played his strange and wonderful melody, all the children of Hamelin gathered around him, singing, laughing, and dancing. They were under the spell of the Pied Piper's music. Without the slightest fear, the children followed the stranger, and by the time the parents realized what was happening, the children had crossed the bridge over the river and disappeared behind the mountains. Neither the piper nor the children ever reappeared in Hamelin. They say 130 children disappeared that day. No one knows what happened to them. Well, no one. I know. I know because back then I received a letter, an offer actually, to buy those children, and I wasn't the only one. Let's just say that certain shady circles got the same proposal. You see, the Pied Piper hadn't really thought things through. He wanted revenge, yes, but he never planned for what came after. So when he found himself with 130 children, reality hit. The moment he stopped playing, the spell broke and the children came back to their senses. They cried, they called for their parents. They were hungry and cold. He wasn't prepared for that. So, as the spell prevented him from returning the children to their parents, he looked for a way to get rid of them. Slave traders, witches, mythical creatures. He didn't care who took them, as long as they were gone. One of them didn't want the children to suffer, so he bought them all. He had no idea how to care for them either, but he had a good heart and a business to run. A small enterprise, he was just getting off the ground. So he took them home, to the North Pole. But his house was too small. He didn't have enough food for 130 children. And more than anything, they were sad and scared. So he used a little bit of magic, just enough to turn them into something more manageable, more cheerful. He turned them into elves. And from what I hear, they're still working for him to this day. See you soon, my little bipeds. And don't forget to subscribe if you dare.